Welcome to this free masterclass on how to not binge when you're stressed, sad, or bored. You will be getting 5 tried and tested steps to help you stop emotional binging and so much more. And I want to get straight to the point because I know you're busy and want this solution to your problem and a solution that'll actually work. So let's do this. First of all, I want to say I'm so thankful that you made the time in your calendar for this. These next 45 minutes will be absolutely value-packed. I highly recommend staying until the end because I'll be sharing a limited time only major discount to my 30-day reboot course. You won't want to miss it. What you're going to learn today, why we binge eat emotionally, 5 steps to stop emotional binging, and specific tips for dealing with being tired, bored, stressed, and sad. One more thing, turn your phone notifications off, turn it on silent, get rid of distractions. View this next 45 minutes as an investment into achieving that binge-free life. Don't forget also grab a notepad and pen because you'll definitely be taking notes. Question for you, are you ready to finally stop having those out of control, emotionally driven binges? And write this down in one sentence. Why haven't you been able to stop emotionally binging? And then tell me, is this you? I'm sure you're in the right place, but let's just make sure. You've tried to break the binge diet cycle, but it just keeps getting worse. You binge when you're bored, stressed, tired, sad, basically any emotion. You wish you could finally stop letting emotions control you and cause you to binge. And you're frustrated because you don't restrict anymore, but you're still binging. If you are still physically restricting a lot, I highly recommend first doing my 30-day reboot course because it is so important to lift physical restrictions before we try to fix anything else. Because in that moment, we're in survival mode. Our biology is taking over. If you feel like you're doing a bit of both, a bit of physically restricting mentally and emotional binging, stick around because this will still be really helpful. Now, remember, it does not have to be this way forever. I know sometimes it feels like it will be, but it won't. There is 100% a way to manage emotions without numbing with food, and I've helped thousands of women do it. Before we get into this masterclass, I want to share this with you really quickly. So I struggled with binging and my weight for 10 years, as you might know, but if you're new here, let me tell you, I struggled from 16 to 26 years old. And I would binge every single day for months on end at times. I would binge on those giant jars of Nutella, like the ones that are like the size of your head. And yes, my digestion, my sleep, my blood sugar levels were all over the place. Naturally, my weight fluctuated all over the place as well, plus minus 25 kilos. That's over 50 pounds constantly. There were times where I'd be stuck on the same 5 kilos going up and down for months. And nothing I would do to change my diet, my exercise would work because binging was just getting in the way. I simply could not fight off the calories consumed from binges. I would binge eat to numb out all of the time, particularly after work, after social settings, after a bad date, after a good date, after a job interview, before one, I mean all the time. I would binge eat not only to numb out on feelings, but to gain the pleasure of those first moments, the run up to a binge, that feeling of euphoria that was truthfully lacking elsewhere in my life. And a glimpse into one of my many rock bottoms. It involved me convincing myself to come out of isolation, and this was pre-COVID days, go to a friend's party. I mustered up the courage, found something that fit me because hardly anything did at that time, only to show up to this party and chat with an old guy friend who previously had a crush on me. And I hadn't seen him in months because I was self-isolating with all my binging and body shame. And there I was standing at the bar and watched as he grabbed my belly fat and shouted at the bar, "When did you get so fat?" And yes, I was mortified, embarrassed, ashamed. I left that party and didn't show up at university for another 3 months. I went on a total binging bender, trying to find pleasure in food, drown my sorrows however I could to distract from how I felt about myself. And then, thankfully, I finally figured out how to stop binge eating, improve my life, and cope with emotions in such a healthier way. And I'm going to share that in just a second. So that's when I became obsessed with helping other women too. I've now helped thousands of women online with my online courses, coaching, podcast, speaking events, social media platforms. It is so incredible to turn my pain into purpose. The thought of helping another woman get out of that binge diet cycle and start living her life is just awesome. So a glimpse into my life now and how it can be for you very soon. Zero urge to binge, and I mean that seriously, zero urge. I'm able to cope with life's difficulties without always going to food. I found my happy weight where maintenance is effortless and I feel relaxed with food choices again. And I'm now binge free for over 3 years. Cheers to that, ladies. Let's switch gears for a minute and really imagine what your life will be like once you learn how to manage emotions in a healthier way without relying on food. So if you can, start to close your eyes. If you can't, it's okay to keep them open. And let's just begin by tuning in with our body and taking a soothing breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And let's breathe in for 5 counts. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and breathing out for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And continuing to breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, really slowly. Every exhale, letting your body melt like honey. Begin to imagine your future self. She has learned how to stop binge eating. She has learned how to cope with emotions in a healthier way. Imagine getting home from a stressful day at work or class, and the future you just knows how to decompress without running to food. She is emotionally lighter, fresher, so much calmer. And watch how she treats herself, how she treats her body. Notice what her food relationship is like now, how easy, carefree it is. How does she feel about things like clothes shopping, going out for drinks with friends? And what is her self-talk like? Really imagine it. No more binge eating. No more overthinking food, counting, measuring, tracking, planning. Just being. Food is easy now. And because of that, life is easier. You get to focus on bigger, better things, more fun things in life. Watch how she carries herself. Watch how she smiles and laughs. Soaking that in for a few more moments, breathing it in. Allowing yourself to feel those feelings now. One more breath in and letting go. And slowly just coming back to this moment, opening your eyes, rolling your shoulders. How was that? How did that feel? Well, I'm going to help you get to that life. I'm telling you, I'm going to help you get there. That will be you in a couple months, rocking a new bikini, dancing like no one's watching, loving your life because binging is no longer a part of it. Food is easy again, and you are just having fun again. So I'm going to help you get there. We'll first understand why we binge emotionally. I'll go into depth on my 5 steps to stop emotional binging. And then I'm going to break down example emotions: sad, bored, stressed, and the bonus one, tired. Then I'll share how you can take your healing journey that much further with my online course, the 30-day reboot, plus that major discount I mentioned to make the decision just that much easier. Okay, let's do this. Why do we self-sabotage and use food to numb? So I'm going to go through 3 key reasons. First off, modeled behavior. Children are like sponges. We learn modeled and taught behavior from parent figures, authority figures when we're young. We really take that on into our subconscious. It's likely you weren't taught how to emotionally regulate and still haven't been. Like many of us, you might have been told to not cry, be happy, stop crying, put on a brave face, be strong. Being quote unquote emotional may have been ridiculed in your family, or even if you were allowed to express and feel emotions, you might not have known what to do with them from there, which I'm going to show you in just a second. Another reason you might be emotionally binging is a form of protection. Since we've been conditioned to think our difficult emotions are quote unquote bad and painful and to be avoided at all costs, we naturally seek protection from them. Binging is an incredible dissociation technique. It takes us into another world for those minutes or hours, especially so when trauma is coming up that the mind doesn't want to face or doesn't even know how to. The last reason we binge emotionally is a form of self-soothing. So not only does it help us escape these so-called negative emotions, i.e. a painkiller, it's also a vitamin, aka gives us pleasure and soothing. So you might feel like you just love food so much, you love that hit, the exhilarating feeling of planning and starting a binge, that high. Those first bites of your binge food give you a major hit of dopamine. It is exciting at times, and in an otherwise stressful, boring, tiring, unfulfilling day or life, this can be the best part of your day. I know for me, it was definitely the case. So let's acknowledge that it's not us just being this out of control, weak, overly emotional, undisciplined person. We're trying to seek safety, comfort, relief, pleasure, and avoid pain or perceived pain from our emotions. Jot this down on your notepad. What feeling do you get in the first moments of an emotional binge? Did it at least temporarily solve your problem? And can you gently acknowledge that you were just doing the best you could with the knowledge you had? In other words, using the best coping mechanism you've ever been taught or knew how, which is going to food. Let's now learn how to manage emotions in a healthy way. The beauty of this framework that I'm about to share is it works for any emotion. Body image, sad, stressed, anxious, angry, bored, anything, even the ones that feel good to us, happiness, for example, joy. And the framework works without needing anyone else. It's free. You can do it anywhere, anytime. It's incredible. Now, I'm about to share those 5 steps in 2 slides time, so hold in there. But first, I need to quickly introduce this important concept that relates to the 5 steps, and that is of suffering versus pain. And in this sense, we're talking about emotions. Let's start with suffering. What is that? What do most of us do when these big emotions come our way? We suppress and suffer. We binge, we make things worse long term. An emotion comes up, let's say fear. We suffer when we either distract immediately, going to social media, TV, sleep, food. We suffer when we start ruminating in our mind, going into story, get stuck in this place where thoughts start spiraling, we assign meaning to things, we misinterpret, we worry, we assume, and then we create a negative feedback loop into our body. Those anxious thoughts create more discomfort in the body, and that loop continues. We get stuck. We're on repeat. There's no room to grow from this. Suffering rarely leads to taking action that actually helps us. It's us latching onto a story. And why do we do this? It's a form of avoidance of actually feeling the emotion. And as mentioned previously, suffering, going to food to deal with emotions can be a form of soothing temporarily. But overall, the intention is to stay stuck. And we don't want that. We don't want that energy stuck in us. Here's a quick example. You see some fitness influencer on Instagram and you think, why can't my body look like hers? Immediately, you feel that in your body. Stress, sadness, frustration, jealousy. Instead of noticing that triggering thought and feeling the discomfort in your body, you go down the rabbit hole. Ugh, it's so unfair. She probably has the money for surgery. She probably has no personality anyway, but maybe I can make my legs look like hers. Maybe I just need to cut out breakfast. Ugh, I wish I was thinner. Life would be so much better. And maybe you get the urge to binge because this negative feedback loop feels all too much to handle. What's the alternative? Pain. Okay, it sounds weird at first, but hear me out. Pain is short and quick. It's felt in the body physiologically. And I'll explain what I mean by that in a second when we do the 5 steps. We allow the feeling to be felt in the body. We extract the lesson and move on. The intention here is to grow and transform from this emotion. This feeling teaches us something. And something that you've got to remember is our mind thinks we can hardly handle any pain, emotional pain. But actually, our body, where it should be felt, can handle it pretty easily. Our mind feels something uncomfortable and just says, oh, that's too much. Let's run from this. That's where we are going to make change with this 5-step formula to help you regulate your emotions, deal with them in a healthier way, and not go to binging to deal with it. Let's do this. So the goal is when those feelings come up that we don't like at the moment, stress, anxiety, boredom, that we lean into them instead of running from them with food. We choose pain over suffering. And to preface, 1 day of the 30-day reboot course goes through this framework, plus you get an amazing guided meditation to help you practice it, which is freaking awesome. So bear that in mind. Now, what you've been patiently waiting for, step 1 of how to emotionally regulate, is acknowledging the discomfort. Super simple. This happens whether you go into pain or suffering, usually anyway. Example is, oh, I notice a sensation of stress, of anxiety in my body. You notice that you're feeling quote unquote bad in some way. Step 2, resist the urge to run from this emotion. This is the fork in the road. You can choose suffering. You can go into story. You can ruminate. You can brood over these feelings, or you can resist that urge to run away and choose pain. Your mind will be saying, no, 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 this isn't safe. We don't like this. That is your cue to go into the body, which means step 3, where we hang out with the feeling in our body. So we want to settle into this pain energy. Let it be there. How can you allow it? How can you invite this feeling in? Let it be heard and honored, is using your breath. Breath work here is super powerful, super simple. Just slow inhales through the nose, slow exhales through the mouth as you hang out with the feeling. Let yourself know it's safe to feel this feeling. Despite what we've been taught all through our life, especially childhood, is it's going to hurt you, it's bad. But we want to remind ourselves we're safe. It's not going to kill us. In fact, if you just spend 90 seconds or so hanging out with it in step 3, scientifically proven that when felt in the body, physiologically, not in the mind, emotions move through very quickly, about 90 seconds. So how do we hang out with it, as I'm saying, in the body physiologically? Well, one way is that I find very helpful is to almost just describe to yourself how that emotion feels physically. Where do you feel it in the body? Example, okay, I feel this anxiety brewing in my belly, in my stomach area. It's kind of this like cloudy feeling. It's murky, it's all encompassing. This simple kind of description helps us stay present with the feeling, helps us stay with it physiologically, and just describing it alone can bring clarity and lightness to this feeling. It's a chance to speak out to your emotionality to yourself. And for many of us in our past, there's a lot we shouldn't speak out. My story doesn't matter. I've got to be the strong one. We want to break through this and allow your feelings to be honored and felt. Step 4, super important step. Once you've honored step 3, you've felt it enough, let's move to curiosity, to learn from this emotion. So instead of being judgmental about the discomfort or wanting to get away from it, seeing it as something bad, let's get curious. The pain is here to teach you something. Emotions are the language of your body, just like thoughts are the language of your mind. So it's there to tell you something. It's not randomly there. It's a real feeling in your body. And often that thing that it's there to teach you is not about the external thing. It's not about what they said in the text or what the way that person looked at you. It's why did this trigger you internally? Why did this bring about this emotion? Which insecurity, what wound has been brought up here? There's always something to be unearthed. And 2 really helpful questions that I love, that my clients find super helpful when getting curious, learning from this emotion is, what do you need most right now? And how can I love you more? These 2 questions help you view the emotion with so much more compassion and allow you to really learn from them. And remember, the emotion is not you. It's not all of you. It's an energy moving through you. And it is a real response in your body. So definitely listen to it. Let's stop running from our emotions. Now, once you've honored all of those 4 steps, it's time to integrate the lesson, to take action. And I will go through examples in a second, as promised. But the key here in step 5 is to ensure that you've not rushed 1 to 4. The mind really wants to say, okay, tick, 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 I've done it. I'm healed now. I'm feeling good. But it doesn't work that way. We need to move on your body's timeline, feel it in the body, and not the mind's timeline. If you find yourself feeling the same pain, the same triggers over and over, you'll know you've been rushing the steps. You've been emotionally bypassing. So ask your body on step 4, do I feel complete? Does this trigger feel complete? And intuitively, you will know if you've bypassed or not. And here I've got a pretty depiction of this 5-step framework. So take a screenshot of that and refer to it whenever you want. Okay, now let's go through these 4 common emotions that lead to binge eating. I'll give more specific tips and how to apply the 5-step formula to each one. So let's start with stress, a big one that I can relate to. So first off, let's acknowledge it's our biology. It's normal to go to food when stressed. In fact, studies show if you're stressed for prolonged periods of time, your adrenal glands release the stress hormone, cortisol, and this is known to increase appetite. And stress also affects our food preferences. So studies show that stress, whether it's physical or emotional, increases the intake of high fat and or high sugar foods. And once eaten, foods high in fat and or sugar have been shown to decrease stress-related responses and emotions. So eating these foods when stressed really does help us decompress. They really are comfort foods. But obviously, we don't always want to have to rely on food to deal with stress. So something that helps me and clients is regular check-ins throughout the day, meaning taking 90 seconds out to breathe, maybe even going through the 5-step formula, but really do this to bring down your stress levels as much as you can throughout the day, bit by bit, returning back to a baseline so you don't get overwhelmed by the time it's evening and everything's sort of like built up, all this pent up pressure, and then you binge. And even setting some alerts on your phone can be really helpful to make this a habit for yourself. Now, in applying step 3, the part where we hang out with the emotion, with the stress in our body, here I really recommend with stress, focus on breathing to help further regulate your nervous system to bring it back out of fight or flight and into rest and digest mode. With step 4, the part where you learn and you get curious, I'd really dig into what is this stress about? Is it overwhelm? Is it fear of what someone's going to think, of how this project is going to go at work? And ask yourself those 2 questions. How can I love myself more? And what do I need most right now? And so when it comes to step 5, maybe that thing that you need, maybe the learning is you need to slow down, you need to rest, or you need to give yourself some praise for all the things that you are doing well. Maybe your lesson to take action on is to factor in those pockets of breathing, of slowing down, of letting your body know that you are actually safe. One final tip when it comes to stress is realizing, stress is a part of life. It's going to happen. It's how we deal with it that matters. So maybe the 5 steps will be your new de-stressor. Find your de-stressor that loves you back. Binge eating doesn't love you back. Maybe it's movement, nature, fresh air, playing with your pet, laughter, rest, whatever it is, find your thing that loves you back. Write down one stressful situation recently that caused you to binge. What did that feeling teach you, and how can you action change? And with all of these journaling prompts, you can absolutely come back to them later as well. Next up, sadness, another big driver of emotional binging. Already, we can see how step 2 comes into play, the part where we resist the urge to run. We're so conditioned to resist leaning into sadness because be happy, stay positive, that whole kind of commentary. Now notice in step 3, where we feel into the feeling, that it's okay to feel sadness. In fact, letting it be there, letting it be heard and honored allows us space to move it through by crying, by writing, connecting with other people. It gives space for that emotion to move. Potential learnings for step 4, the part where you get curious and learn, could be that I'm sad because I really care about this person. I really care about this situation. Maybe the learning is I need to let myself feel this feeling more. Maybe the learning is what I really need right now is a hug. How can I love myself more right now? It's to be okay to cry when the tears come. Step 5 action, potential actions leading on from what I just said. It could be things like get outside, connect with people, let yourself cry it out. Write this down. How were you taught to deal with sadness as a child? What did that little girl really need in those moments? And how could you love yourself more when that feeling shows up? Tiredness. Now, with tiredness, we want to really view this with kindness. It is so understandable that we would want that boost of energy from food. It makes sense. We'd go to food when we're tired to get that sugar hit. Obviously, we need more food when we're awake for longer, but oftentimes we eat way more than we actually need to stay awake. There's lots of evidence out there that getting too little sleep is associated with overeating and an increased body weight. And the question is why? Well, part of the answer seems to be that skimping on sleep can disrupt our circadian rhythm. Lack of sleep can also alter your hunger and fullness hormones. A new study also finds evidence that sleep deprivation, getting less than 5 hours of sleep per night, produces higher peaks of lipid in our bloodstream known as endocannabinoid that makes eating literally more pleasurable. So it's helpful to understand your biology when it comes to these things. What can we do? Be prepared. This is when it comes to tiredness, it's a lot more on the practical side that we can do. So have food ready so you don't have to let decision fatigue or your fatigue in general wipe you out, drive you to binging. Do what you can to fuel your body in the best way possible. Set yourself up for success. What can you do to get more quality rest? Now, I know getting enough rest is a privilege in itself. So if quantity isn't available to you, do what you can to get quality. Focus on sleep hygiene. No lights in the room, no food for a few hours before you sleep to allow deeper sleep, etc. And of course, you can use the 5-step formula when it comes to tiredness as well. You'll probably find that in step 3, the part where we hang out with the feeling, it's probably just a really nice moment to feel your tiredness and just rest and slow down. Maybe the teaching in step 4 is looking around your life and finding what you can remove. How can you streamline things to make more space for the things that really matter that you want to prioritize and for rest as well? The action in step 5 probably is make space, set boundaries, slow down, take a break, take a breather. Now write this down. What actions can you take so you're less likely to binge when tired? Final emotion. And then definitely stick around. You made it this far, so stick around for the major discount you won't want to miss out on, I promise. Okay, boredom. It's so easy to go to food as something to do. I have done this a million times, and sometimes I still do, but not at that binge level where it's so out of control and so emotionally distressing. Now it's a conscious choice when I do it. I ask myself this really helpful question. Is this numbing or nourishing? So when I'm noticing I'm bored and I'm peckish and I'm going to go to the kitchen, I stop and bring more consciousness to my choice. Is it numbing or nourishing? And right there is already step 1 of the 5-step framework in progress. That's me just noticing that I'm bored right now. Something to really look into is assess whether you have this need to be constantly stimulated, highly stimulated. Is that your new norm? Are you so unaccustomed to rest and to not being busy, to not being productive, that for you doing nothing or just chilling, just relaxing makes you feel bored? So that's step 2 in action. Resist that urge to run from this feeling of being understimulated. With step 4, where you learn, maybe the thing that you learn is you are using food to fill time, or you are underfulfilled in the evenings, or you're so used to always being on to doing things that you can't even just have like 5 minutes of not looking at all these different screens at once, doing all of these different things at once. Step 5, the action, could be finding activities that are truly enriching. Maybe it's to normalize doing nothing, to actually resting. I know when it comes to the fulfilling, the enriching your life part, this was a huge one for me with my binging. Truthfully, my life was boring as hell back in my binging days, mainly because of isolation, pressing pause on life, and it might be the same for you as well. So really take a practical look at your life when it comes to boredom. Last thing to mention, let yourself know it's okay to emotionally eat sometimes. It's about being conscious during it, knowing you're doing it, making that choice, and having the ability to stop when you want. Write this down. one thing you can add to your life to add a little bit of spice to enrich your life a little bit more so there's less boredom going on. Just to recap, today you have learned a lot. We've gone through why you emotionally binge, that 5-step framework to stop, and tons of insights into those common emotions. Now, you are free to go right now, apply these tools, go for it. But there's only about 10 minutes left. You made it this far. Stick around because I'm going to share how you can truly stop binge eating once and for all with my online course, plus that limited time discount to get that course as well. Can I ask you something? Why did you really show up today? I know you wanted to learn how to cope with emotions in a healthier way, but you're probably here today because you also just want to finally stop binge eating once and for all. You don't want to waste any more time trying to figure it all out yourself, feeling so alone in this journey. You are ready to get help with emotional binging and improving your overall food relationship. Now, remember, I have been there before too. I've done all the things. I know what you're going through. I know the frustration. I know the panic, the loneliness. I've done the detoxes, diets, cleanses, boot camps, therapy, read the books. I get it. And let me tell you, there is nothing special about me. There's no reason why I've got out of this spiral and why you can't. If I can do it, so can you. And remember, none of this is just theory. I'm not making this stuff up. These are all processes I've personally used that worked for me, but also worked for hundreds of my clients to achieve real results. And now the exciting part, it is your turn to get that binge-free life with the guidance of a step-by-step system. So, drum roll, please. I would love to introduce you to my signature course, 30-Day Reboot, that has helped hundreds of women all ready to stop binge eating and find food peace. So let's skip to the good stuff. Let's look into your future. Here's what life will look like after you do the course. Duh, no more binging, obviously. You can even have ex-binge foods in the house. And yes, forget they're even there. It is possible. Eating out at restaurants, ordering what you actually want and not what you think you should be eating because you need to lose weight. No longer going to food to cope with tough emotions, as we learned today. Phew. And finally, feeling free, confident, like yourself again. Woohoo! And women who have got these results, I could share literally hundreds and hundreds of these kind of messages, but just a little glimpse into what it looks like. This first person, I thought of a binge, doesn't even feel tempting anymore. Someone else says they did this for about 10 years and my course was so powerful. They feel so free. Someone else said it is literally life-changing. Another woman said under 9 weeks binge-free at that time. Another one said it literally saved her life. And this recent one, this woman said that when she joined the reboot, she was at such a low, such a loss, and she thought she would never be able to stop binging and that there was literally something wrong with her. Hands up if that's you, because I felt that exact same way as well. And this course changed all of that for her. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. What's included when you enroll? Each day over 30 days, you'll receive a new video lesson, about 10 to 15 minutes, where I'll teach you tools and mindset shifts, all the things you need to know to create change. You'll also get a guided meditation or visualization each day to really practice anchoring those learnings. As I mentioned earlier, you'll get one for this 5-step framework in the course as well. It's so helpful. You'll get daily, what I call get-to-dos, so these mini tasks. So we're really truly integrating and seeing change. We're not just watching a video, not just listening to a meditation. We're doing the things we need to do. Taking action is the most magnetic thing that we can do. Examples of what you might be asked to do: journaling, practicing facing your feelings like we did today, facing fear foods, binge foods, using breath work to calm your body in triggering situations. You get instant access as soon as you sign up, so you can literally start right now today. You'll also get access to my private Facebook group, which has over 300 women in it. Everyone in there has joined the course, so it's such a safe space. Get lots of support in there, people who are in the same boat as you. And the coolest thing, lifetime access, so you don't have to finish this in 30 days. There's no rush. You have the content for life and all future updates. A little bit about how we achieve those results using this proven method. 1, understanding your why. We get to the bottom of your binging and food issues. We look back at childhood, how food and body relationships were modeled to you, how you took that on into your subconscious, building foundations of safety, and envisioning what you want life to look like. Because remember, what we focus on expands. Two, important work of looking at beliefs and thoughts that drive our actions. Without this, we're forcing behavior change without healing at the root. We'll do some serious belief restructuring. Things like, I just can't ever change. She can do it, but I can't. I have to be skinny to be happy. All those types of common beliefs. Three, emotional regulation, just as we learned about today, but we'll go into more depth on that. Four, we will rebuild your sense of self-trust and confidence around food, body, and your life in general through taking action. Five, I'm going to introduce you into tons of tips as to how you can start intuitively eating again, making food so easy, so relaxing. And a key part of it, towards the end, we will focus on body acceptance because body rejection goes hand in hand with eating disorders and disordered eating. So that's something we absolutely focus on. Let's get really clear. This course is for you if you're feeling hopeless and frustrated. You've tried everything, but it keeps getting worse. You actually feel like you are a sugar addict, a food addict. You binge, even though you're no longer physically restricting. So if you are physically restricting, this course is definitely for you as well. And you just want someone to show you the way so you don't have to keep figuring it out, making mistakes, going 10 steps backwards, and feeling even more demoralized. So let me teach you. And also, last thing, you enjoy online learning because it is an online course. And this is not for you if you aren't committed. You're not ready to put in this effort. You're not willing to invest in yourself either. And all you want is just this quick fix, this weight loss, and you're not open-minded or willing to try something a little bit different. If you're already like, Breed, please sign me up, I need this right now, then click the button below the video to enroll and get that discount. Okay, let's talk money. What's the investment? And remember, it is exactly that, an investment. What you spend will come back in so many ways. It's incredible. Your sanity, your energy, your happiness. I've literally had women say, Breed, this course should be like 10 times the price because it was everything I expected and so much more. It got me my life back. So usually working with me one-to-one starts from £2,500. And note that what's in this course is exactly what I teach one-to-one clients too, only that you also get lifetime access and you can repeat lessons as much as you want. Plus you've got that support from the Facebook group. The total value of the 30-day reboot, 10 hours of video lessons, 8 hours of guided audios, daily tasks that have been proven to bring about change, solve your problem, the community and the support too, it's all valued at £397. But your price today is $199. And I did promise a special price reveal at the start of the masterclass. That is, if you enroll within the next hour, your price is $149. Remember, you can start today. No waiting till a group or one-to-one program starts. No more wasting time. You can start today. And now that you've learned how to cope with emotions in a better way, I'm guessing you might be wanting that guided meditation to help you use the 5 steps, practice it. You might also have gaps or areas that you need help with, like beliefs, self-talk, body acceptance. So to jumpstart your momentum and start seeing results quickly, click that button below the video. Once you click through, this is the checkout page. You'll see, super simple, the discount will already be applied. And once you get through, you'll get instant access to the course, an invite link to the private Facebook group, and of course, your inspiring and transformative course content. You'll probably also feel a bit of a high, the fact that you're choosing a new path. I know whenever I join a new online course, I can't wait to dive into course material immediately. And I know you might have some questions, and I'm here to answer them. Common one is, can I still lose weight while doing the course? I get this one quite a lot. Okay, you have full body autonomy. You can do whatever you want, but I highly recommend trying to press pause on weight loss throughout the course. I know it won't feel natural to do, but it'll help you be able to truly lift restrictions, find body acceptance, and stabilize your binging. In the course, we also dive into that desire to lose weight quite a bit and the worthiness wound underneath it. And if emotional binging is the main reason you do binge, you will very likely find a lot of your weight is emotional and that it will start to drop once you stop using food to cope. But I'm not sure it's right for me. Is it really for me? And I can't tell you that. Only you can. Not that doubtful, scared, fear-driven voice, but that intuitive one, the calm one, the voice inside that truly knows what's best for you, that really cares about your long-term health. So take a few breaths and ask, is this the course for me? Listen to that immediate answer. When can I start? You can start today. You can start anytime you want. This online course is there for you whenever. But remember that price discount expires in 1 hour. So if you know this is for you, jump on in now and know that there's no rush anyway once you actually get the content because it's there for a lifetime. So there's really nothing to lose by jumping in now. How long do I have to complete the course? Okay, it's there for a lifetime. So it's up to you, your pacing, your needs, your desires. For so long in dieting, we self-abandon. We force our body into a size it might not want to be, force ourselves to eat what others eat or what we're told to. This is your time to return to you in this course, and the pacing of it is just one example of that. But I'm scared to gain weight in the process. This is a biggie. This fear holds so many of us back. The fear of lifting restrictions and then losing control and gaining a ton of weight. It's so understandable. And we've completely lost trust with ourselves and our body over the years. But here's the thing. Your body is so wise. It knows exactly what it needs. If we just get out of our heads, stop letting our fear lead us, our body knows exactly how to handle things. The belief underneath your fear of weight gain is a big component of the course as well. So we will do work to disarm that. Okay, hopefully that cleared up some of your questions. If you have any other questions, feel free to message me, DM me on Instagram at freewithbreed. Now, just to recap, your payment options are, the course is valued at $397. The current price is $199. But if you join in the next hour, you get it for $149. And a reminder, you have 1 hour to sign up to get that saving. Let's do this. Look at these two women. They took that leap of faith. They signed up to the course. Look what they said. Zulika said, my life has changed so much since doing this course. Life is so much easier without binging. I'm a whole new woman. I remember when I read those words when she sent them to me, I was just smiling ear to ear. Ashley said, Breed is the real deal. After 25 years of extreme restricting and binging, I finally feel free. If you're ready to join them, then click the button below the video to enroll now. And one final thing, one last minute. I made this list once on the notes app on my phone, all the things I did to stop binge eating and lose weight. And it summed up to over 20,000 pounds. Insane. What I wish I'd done, just get help from someone who has been there, who got out, who's already helped other people with this proven method. Like, why waste any more time and money and mental space with this? And final question, what is staying stuck costing you? More missed memories, more wasted years hating yourself? What price have you already paid? Harming your mental health, harming your physical health, being a poor example to your children, wasted money like I did. Why did you show up to this live masterclass? You wanted that solution, right, to your problem. Well, it is right here for you. Here is your solution. So I'm asking you to make a decision for yourself. It's time to step up and stop this cycle. What do you even have to lose? At this point, you've got these two choices. Keep trying to do things the way you've been doing them and it's not really working, right? Or just shortcut your way to success, to the life that you want, food freedom, body acceptance. And if you're ready for that, the 30-day reboot is my invitation to you. That is it for this masterclass. Thank you so much for joining and spending this time with me. I hope you now have clarity over why you emotionally binge and how to stop it in 5 simple steps. If you have any more questions regarding the 30-day reboot or what you learned today, email me, freewithbreed@gmail.com, or Instagram DMs. I hang out there a lot at freewithbreed. Have an amazing day.